Hello, my name's James Hester. I've been racing triathlon since the mid-90s. I've amassed a ton of gear, but over the years I've realised that whilst it seems like a complex sport, it's actually really quite simple. As long as you've got the basics in place, and I'm making the assumption that you have a bike and a helmet and running shoes and goggles and those kind of things, there are three basic essentials that make your first race a more enjoyable and a quicker experience. You don't have to spend a huge amount of money. The first item I'm going to show you costs a couple of pence. The biggest item maybe costs you £50. I'm also making an assumption that your first race isn't one of the longer races like an Olympic, a half Ironman or an Ironman distance race, and that you're picking a race such as a sprint or a super sprint. Just because it's one of the shorter races doesn't make it necessarily easier, so anything that we can do to make it faster and a more enjoyable experience is a good thing. So item number one are elastic laces for your trainers. Over the years I've tried all of these kind of speed type laces. This one's got kind of bobbles in it. This is much more like a lace that you might want to use for a longer distance race. The laces that I use when I race nowadays are the most simplest thing you could possibly buy. If you just Google elastic laces, you'll get with something like this. It's just a straight piece of elastic cord you put in place of your trainer laces, and you put a toggle through the end here, and you set them to the right tension on your trainer, and you just pull your trainers on and off you go. This will save you minutes in transition, the area between your bike and your run, which means you can just pull your trainers on and off you go. You'll be leaving all the other people that are lacing their laces up standing. The second item is something called a race belt. A race belt simply holds your race number, an elasticated belt that you put around your waist. When you're doing the bike section of the race, you should have your number on the back so that people behind you can see your number, and if there are drafting officials, people making sure that the cyclists aren't too close together, can see your race number to give you a penalty. Let's hope you don't get one of those. But obviously once you get into transition and you go out on the run, you need to turn your number around so it's on the front so people can see your number as you're coming to the finish line. Now obviously, if you take that number to the front or back of your vest, you then can't shift that around. When you come into transition for the bike section, all you need to do is either unclip this and put it around your waist and do it up, or do like I do, have it done up and just step into it and pull it up to your waist. These cost a few quid. I think they're about a tenner maximum. They're not a particularly complex bit of kit, but once again, you won't be faffing around with pins on a top trying to turn your top around, or you won't have the numbers in the wrong place on your first race day. You'll feel like a true pro, running out of transition, switching your number around to the front as you exit. A couple of little pointers to have a look out for when you're doing this. Sometimes race organisers ask you to fill out your details on the back. Please do this. It gives them contact details in case of emergency and any medical conditions you might have. Also, putting a piece of gaffer tape through the hole where you put your toggle will also stop it getting ripped and your number coming off. Final little top tip to do with the numbers is to scrunch your race number up so it's all creased up, so that when you're on the bike leg it doesn't flap around like a flag and make an annoying noise. All that wind will cost you extra watts and extra power and might cost you a few seconds ultimately. And finally, the last items are a race suit. The first one is a vest design without sleeves. Some triathlon organisations won't let you use sleeved versions in a swimming pool situation, so you'll have to get one of these. But the trend these days is to have a sleeved version that comes over your shoulder like a t-shirt and comes down to here. Just be aware that the race you have may not allow you to wear these in the pool. The whole point of having a racing suit is so that when you do the bike leg you have a small amount of padding to stop you getting sore from the saddle, but also it's so thin that when you run you won't notice it. If you wear running kit on the bike you may get a bit sore and that may impede you in the run, and if you wear cycling kit and then you go running in it, it may also cause you a bit of chafing and make that uncomfortable. You can get really cheap suits online now. For your first race I wouldn't worry about spending much more than between £30 and £50. You can spend multiple hundreds of pounds that are aerodynamically tested, but for your first race I wouldn't worry too much about this. If you add all of those things together, you're not really going to have to spend much more than £50 on your first race to make it a much more enjoyable, a much more cohesive experience for you with the speed laces, with your race belt and your triathlon suit. You can wear triathlon suits in the swimming pool if you wish to get better use out of it, but it will be something that you can use in subsequent years, and you can wear under your wetsuit as well if you decide to go on and do more open water races in the future. Good luck with your first race. I hope you have a really good season and good training running up to it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications button as well so any new videos get sent to you. I also got a playlist of all the videos I've been doing over this last year for you to have a look at here. Enjoy your season, have a good race.